Welcome to the Personal Podcast, the podcast where we get to meet the real person behind the professional. I am your host, Charlotte Nichols, and on today's show, I am really excited to get to meet the real Pete Wilkinson, who is founder and CEO of Reclaro. So Pete, what's the hardest physical challenge that you've ever completed?
It would be hard to choose. It would be either ironman, triathlon, or I did a event called Lodestone, which is like a truncated special forces check down in Wales with UKSF.
Wow.
So they were harder for different reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, both very tough.
So let's talk about the Ironman first. Remind us of the distances.
Ironman is I'm still miles, so it's a 2.4 mile swim in open water. Then it is a 112 mile bike, and then followed by a full 26.2 mile marathon. And you've got to get that done within 17 hours.
Okay, wow. And where did you do yours?
I did two. I did one in 2007, one in 2014, both UK. So one was in, I think, Sherborne was the first one, then Bolton was the more recent one.
Okay.
The later one.
And what about the Special Forces Challenge? What did that involve?
That's great. So I love triathlon, but like it is quite difficult with the time. So when you do an Ironman, it's a lot of training. So you like sort of programs are normally around 2 sessions per day, 6 days a week. So you're up to about 18 hours a week training, which is like a part-time job.
Yeah.
So then I moved away from that. And then we started doing British Army events. There's a one called the Paris 10 down at Catterick, which I love. Done that about 6-7 times. And then you just progress, don't you? And you want bigger challenges. So we did a few of the fan dance races, which is the UK Special Forces selection race. I enjoyed that. And then you can go and do what they call Lodestone, which is a series of events and challenges over 3 weekends. So they're spaced out 1 weekend each. So you kind of go to Wales, do the event full weekend, various things, and then you come back to the northeast, and then you go back down, and it's to try and see if you could get to reserve level. I mean, you're not going to get to full SF level because you've got to be 32 then. I was 47 at the time, so I was already 15 years older. But like these are professional people, so it's like trying to play football with Ronaldo. You're not going to do it, you know. So, but the reserve level was the challenge, and that was great. It was a very, very difficult thing. It was over a number of weekends, and you're doing all sorts of stuff. You're carrying very heavy packs. You're having to navigate, you do weapons training, you do survival stuff, you do self-defense stuff. So it's great fun, but it is a challenge, you know, which is good. I like it.
And was life not challenging enough before these events?
Oh, man, life's too comfortable for people, man. People are just taking it too easy. It's like if you want some food, get Just Eat. You want to change the channel, press a button, you know. So I think we've forgot, and I think people generally have made their lives too comfortable. So I think we forget that as humans, there's no other animal can match us for endurance, and I think we've forgot that. So I like to be tested, just to see what it's like.
I love that spirit, and I totally believe you're right about comfort zones.
Oh, you've got to shift them. You've got to be so bloody careful.
It's almost like the latest epidemic, isn't it? It's people stuck in comfort.
Yeah. I mean, you get, and you know what? I'm not talking about like, when enough's enough, I'm totally fine with that, you know. But for most people, we're just scraping the surface of what we're capable of. So, you know, I like to try and think about potential and you know, doing another Ironman. I did the first one in 2007, then I damaged my knee in 2009, had a knee reconstruction, which meant that Ironman wasn't going to be possible. But then it was just build a 5-year plan to 2014, and it was just about testing and saying, what can you do? So I think that's a big question. Most of us are not asking ourselves enough.
Definitely. That's when you ask those deep questions like, what's your mission? Mine is almost to fulfill my potential. And you don't always know what that is, but just to keep pushing to see what more you can do.
And it'll change, Charlotte, right? So like my potential at one point was like, get to that level, and now it's get to that level, and now it's get to that level. And that's in all areas of your life. And I think potential, the achieving of your potential is the biggest challenge anyone faces. And it's like, you've got to be courageous, and you've got to, you know, crack on and be persistent. But like on that event which is called Lodestone, and you get a certain time, and you're trying to get close to reserve level times, and you're carrying big weights, and you've got to just packs like 45-pound pack, And then you've got your food and water. You've always got to carry 2 litres. So there's another 2 or 3 pound with the food and everything. And then they give you this like scaffold bar type thing to simulate a weapon. So if anyone runs, you know that when you run, your arms kind of move as you run. Well, when you've got, carry nearly 4 stone and then you're going to stick a scaffold bar thing and then you sort of change the whole dynamics, it's very difficult. So there's certain things you have to do to be able to do that. And you've got to be able to obviously be fit and strong, but it's the mindset more than anything else. Like it absolutely is the mindset.
I was thinking that. I was going to ask, is it more of a physical challenge or a mental challenge?
Yeah, it's definitely mental. Ironman's definitely mental. It's all mental. Your body can take you so far, and then the Great North Run's a great thing. Right? For some people, a massive challenge, really good. But like when you have exercised for a while, and I mean this in the greatest respect, those things are no longer a challenge. If you've trained for like 20, 30 years of endurance. So you're looking for the next thing. And when you get anything, when you take your body past 4 or 5 hours, then you're kind of in the realms of like, right, it's now a mindset thing. Going for a walk for 3 hours is a challenge, absolutely. But like you can do it reasonably comfortably once you're going past 4, 5, 6 hours. So we did an event with the Royal Marines up at the Cheviots, and it was their 30 mile, and it took us like about 9 hours 16, carrying a 35-pound pack over the hills. Very challenging. Once you get to those distances, Ironman's 12 and a bit hours, then it's all mindset. But that's what life is. Life is an endurance sport, ain't a sprint, You've got to keep going. Challenges, obstacles, overcome, find a way, keep moving forward.
Absolutely. I was a swimmer, and again, similar training regimes to
swimming's
Ironman.
Massive training,
in the pool again, morning, evening. But with sport and with swimming and with events, there was always kind of a cycle. So you had an event, and you knew when you needed to peak for, and you could taper, you could put in the intense work. With life's endurance event, it's constant, especially business. I compare the kind of sport and events to business quite a lot. I find business more relentless. That's almost like the ultimate endurance thing because it's so constant. You can't just suddenly say, right, I'm going to taper for a week or 2. Yes, you can take holiday, but you can't just keep tapering all the time because there's events, performances, every day you need to be on top of your game.
Yeah, and like, you get some people who are successful say, oh God, he's lucky, she's lucky. And it's like, yeah, they're an overnight success story. It took 10 years in the making. They've just been at it, doing the work that nobody sees in the background, for a decade. Yeah. And like, I've been speaking a lot for a lot of years, and it's great. I can turn up, do a workshop and a masterclass and all that stuff. It's easy, great. Yeah, but I've refined what I'm saying, how I say it, when I say it, how to build rapport for a decade. So, like, you've got to put that work in. And yes, as you say, with business, it's challenge after challenge after challenge. And that's what the game is. If you want to run your own business, absolutely.
Yeah, I love what you just said there, the work that nobody sees. It's so important because, again, everyone thinks they see it on Instagram and social media these days.
Yeah. It's just a snapshot.
Absolutely. And so when you're doing these physical challenges and it's coming up to, say, the 8th or 9th hour, what thoughts are going through your mind to keep you going?
It's the finish line. So when going back to Lodestone, if you can get under the reserve level time, and they kind of give you an indication of what that looks like as you're going through all the events, all the races and all the different things, it's the finish line. And I kind of really built a very clear vision of, shaking the right hand of a UK Special Forces member and being given the bronze medal that you've qualified. And that's the thing. So I'm a big fan of vision. What is the outcome of the activity, not just the activity. So I was in pain and it's uncomfortable and you're dehydrated and your legs are absolutely in your shoulders. When you carry a 35-pound pack's not so bad, but when you start taking up to nearly 50 pound, it's just pain all the time. You can't get used to it. Yeah. And it's uncomfortable. But it was the finish line. It was like, get across within that time, do enough to get the bronze medal, to say, yes, that's the pace. So it was that idea of what that's going to feel like while you're going through the challenge,
Definitely. And what happens to your mindset once you've crossed that finish line?
Well, you should let yourself have a little bit of, time off to recover. But then, like most things, you think, right, what's next? And I think, you know, there's a lot of people who go running a lot, and there's a great northeast, especially in the northeast of England, where there's some great races. And I think they put them in there partly because, like, if you know you're going to have to turn up for the Great North Run in September, you'll go out because there's a purpose. Where so I think the thing is that thinking about what is the outcome that's next, and then to keep training. Otherwise, you'll just go to seed. And some people do. Some people do a great event and then they just think, right, I'm done. And then they don't take care of themselves, and health, you know, becomes worse, and before you know it, they can't do what they did before, you know.
Yeah.
So I think you've just got to try. Well, for me, you've got to keep going.
Next event.
Next event, challenge or goal might be. You know, I'm into longevity now, so I'm all about, you know, metabolic ages and VO2 max, and I'm really looking at what decisions I'm making today that my 90-year-old self will say, I'm pleased you did that.
Definitely,
so that's the next thing now.
Totally. Sport and exercise, for me, it's always been an important part of my life, but for different reasons to now. Like what you've just said, I've got 2 young children, so all of a sudden the focus is on health and wellness and longevity. Be there for
them, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What is your physical age, if you don't mind me asking?
Physically?
Mental. Physical and mental. But the
mental
metabolic.
Age is about 6. So physical age, I'm 53, I'm 54 next month.
Okay, and what's your metabolic age?
So I got it checked last Feb when I was 52, and it was 37.
Amazing.
15 years younger. Yeah.
Well done you. That must feel good.
Oh, brilliant. Because he says 15 is the most we can take off, Pete. You could be younger. I said, I probably am. Well, but you know what? I believe in the compound effect. And I think, you know, people overcomplicate things, Charlotte, right? And like, if you're going to think about your metabolic age, which for me is a really good measure of condition. And it's not the only measure. There's lots of measures, right? But it's one of the main ones. So like, if you tweak your nutrition and you make adjustments, and then you tweak your exercise so you train properly, and then you do prioritize rest and rejuvenation, whether that's sleep, massage, stretching, yoga, whatever it is. Like, if you tweak your nutrition, tweak your exercise, tweak your rest and rejuvenation, do that over an extended period of time. I'm not surprised that at that time, you know, my metabolic age was 15 years younger than my chronological age. I'm not surprised, because it's like, yeah, I don't drink loads of beer, I don't smoke cigarettes, I train my heart properly in a controlled environment, doing endurance stuff. I've started doing lots of strength work now because I'm into my mid-50s. I don't want my strength to go off a cliff, so I'm kind of maintaining that. And I get to bed, I make sure I prioritise sleep. In the past, I didn't. Now I do. So it's just the compound effect of those smart choices that repeat over time.
Definitely
has led to feeling great. I feel in my 30s, I feel fit as anything, you know.
Oh, amazing. Do you feel better than you did in your 30s?
I've always trained, so
Right.
I
Okay.
have always done that, yeah. I have always, like, ran and swam and biked and done stuff. So I've maintained a level of health for quite some time.
Yeah. And all those compounding effects, which I totally believe in, the same is true in reverse. You know, if you're eating like fast food daily, if you're not moving, then that's going to increase your metabolic age.
Yeah, so I did a stint years ago when I was a kid on building sites, like as a young lad. And I was watching some of these guys, and they were like, you know, traditional builders and fences and things. And they were all, you know, traditional, smoking fags, you know, big breakfasts, morning break, going to the butty van, having a bacon and sausage sandwich. And I'm like, the compound effect of that, of smoking loads of fags, doing no exercise. I mean, they were working in the job, but like not structured. And then eating this like, you know, bacon sausage sandwich and stuff. Like, nothing wrong with that every now and then, but if that's your pattern, or, you know, if you're constantly eating 500 to 800 calories a day more than you require, and you do that for 10, 20 years, you're going to wake up one day and think, geez, I'm 6 stone heavier than what I was when I was 25.
And they're
and
always
you've got
like,
to watch for that. How'd that happen?
Exactly,
well,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it happened because you've been, you know, having a McDonald's breakfast every day for the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's so gradual.
You've got to watch for that.
Absolutely.
It sneaks on, doesn't it, you know?
It does.
Gotta
And what
watch
do you
for
think
that.
about kind of the culture today of that's okay? You know, it's okay to be overweight. It's okay to not be healthy. It seems to be that culture that people can't say, or actually, you know, for your health, you should maybe try a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not overly concerned with weight because of but I am concerned about body composition. So, like, you know, if you look at the English rugby team,
Of
most
course.
of them are obese, right? So weight's the issue, is not the challenge for me, but body composition and health, absolutely. You know, if you are having a repeated period of time where you are not training your heart and lungs and you're not making demands on your body, I do believe you'll pay the price when you get older. And then you may have the money to do things, but not the health to do things. And I want these 4 freedoms. I'm working towards these 4 freedoms. And I think for that to happen, I've got to be making decisions now that in the future I can do what I want to do. You know, I want to be in Spain. I want to be riding. We've got a little place, Gaff in the Hills, and I want to ride the town at 85 years old on my bike and buy some fresh bread for Shaz. That's what I want to do. So, like, what can I do today to be able to do that?
Absolutely.
And that's exactly it.
And again, it's quite often it's a culture of immediate gratification as well.
Yes, well, we've got too many kids. Like, it's a different story. Like, but the youngest one's 11, and we keep saying, now it's all about, I want, money for Tokaboka, and I want to buy some stuff for Roblox, and we're like, you have to work first to get that. So luckily she's starting to connect the dots of like, hey, I want to get this new thing in Tokaboka. It's $4.99. What jobs can I do? And I'm fine with that, because at least she's got the reach. She's not just saying, can I have £5? She's like, I need to have £5. What can I do? Right, well, we can start with the dishwasher. We can start with this and just little things to try and get her to realise you do something first, then it comes down the line.
Absolutely.
So we do talk a lot with our kids around earnings and money and investments and things like that, just to try and get them to realise taking a slightly longer term view on something is right. Whereas, yes, now everything's like immediate. And it looks immediate on Instagram, it looks immediate on Facebook or wherever you're looking at. But like, the reality is, people have put, as we said earlier, they put in some hard yards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's Tokaboka?
Tokaboka is this lovely little game. Tokaboka is a game created by some young people who be sitting on some desert island where they've got about £30 million a piece. That's what Tokaboka is.
Right. It's
a little game that they design homes and design houses, and you can very cleverly unlock different things. So they're saying, hey, you've got this house, Maya, but if you want to put this accessory in or this furniture package, it's $4.99. I mean, it's genius business, right? So basically the marketing to kids who don't have any disposable income, and the business makes like £1 gazillion because the parents go on, then you can have £5, £10, whatever it is.
Yeah, actually, I heard someone talking about that. I didn't know the name of it, but someone at work was talking about it. Someone much younger than me.
Yeah. It's and she loves it, and it's creative because you're designing homes, you're designing stuff. But like, she likes to get unlock the extra things which are extra. A bit like Roblox, you unlock different parts of it.
Okay.
Same sort of concept.
You said you had too many kids.
No, wait, 31, 28, 25, and 11.
Oh, amazing!
And then 2 grandsons.
Wow.
Just keeps getting bigger and bigger, yeah.
And so with all that, and you run a business as well, balancing your training, looking after your kids, grandkids, how do you find the time to fit everything in?
Yeah, I mean, time is the challenge. But I kind of remind myself everyone gets the same amount, so you have to prioritise. So maybe I don't watch as much TV as I probably have in the past now. I do like to study and read a bit as well. And I think you've just got to be more planned, more measured. So like Saturday mornings, luckily she's 11 now, we can leave her in for half an hour, and we can pop down to the gym. So Shaz will go together. So we're doing that together.
Nice.
Biking, I'm not doing the volume I've done in the past. So I'm doing maybe 5 or 6 sessions a week, but they're not like 3 and 4 hour sessions. So, it's a bit more measured.
Yeah.
We are very close as a family, so that's something we're really, really grateful for. We do a lot of things together. As a unit, we often have time together and meals together and holidays together, and we all go away. So Centre Parks this year, we'll all be going away. That's like, 2 lodges full of us and stuff, which should be lovely. Yeah, we do all that stuff. So we do see each other a lot. But you've got to prioritise that, haven't you?
Exactly.
I don't waste time.
No.
I very rarely waste time.
And you talked about your 4 freedoms.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so that is, I want to look at the time freedom, money freedom. I want to look at purpose freedom and relationship freedom.
Okay.
So I want to have the time to do what I want to do, the money to be able to do that. I want to have relationship freedom where I don't have to spend time with people I don't want to spend time with. And then purpose freedom is I'm only doing things that I'm actually linked to my purpose. So at the moment, I don't have those 4 freedoms exactly.
Okay.
But that's to me is it. It's time, money, purpose, and relationships.
Yeah. And when do you hope to achieve that?
Well, Reclaro is our business that we are building towards an event in the future. So, yeah, that will be a few years.
Yeah.
Not too long, but hopefully 2 or 3 years away.
They are all really vital components of life, and it is so hard to get the balance right with all 4 of those.
Yeah, you've got points, Charlie. You've got 100 points. You've only got 25 points for each one, for example. So if you want to put loads of time, then I could have loads more time, but then I wouldn't be building the business to get the wealth. And, and sometimes if you don't put the time in to build a offer or a business or a solution that allows you to be purpose-led, that takes time. So you've got to juggle. But I think for me, coming from that position of these 4 freedoms, that's the kind of filter things go through,
Definitely. No, that makes sense. And, also if you are so busy working to build the money side of things and you don't have a lot of time, that can impact the relationship side as well.
Yeah, I don't mean Shaz to do that. What means Shaz to do that? Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. I mean, could I be more successful on one measure? Absolutely. But when I think about my potential and the relationship we've got with our family and Shaz and me are, best mates, that's great. The work relationships, with nobody in the team that I don't like. It sounds funny, but I've had teams in the past where you've got people you just work together.
Yeah.
You might not get on with them. We're really close as a work team as well, which is great. But you have to do it purposely. You've got to actually make the decision. I think, being your potential, a bit like being fit. Everyone wants to be fit, but you're prepared to go to the gym on a February morning when it's lashing it down with rain and you've got to scrape the car with ice. That's different, right? So when you've got the really clear picture, and I get excited with this stuff, but I'm really passionate about the way I want to live. So I'm prepared to make the decisions today that would I feel great after a bacon sandwich? Yes. Have I had a bacon sandwich? Not for 6 years. Because that's not what I want to eat, because that's not going to get me to where I want to be. So I'm prepared to make those hard decisions. I'm a little bit intense, mine, Charlotte. So
it's like my brain meeting my brain, and I sometimes struggle to kind of control myself in the way to relax, because sometimes that's important too, because I'm always like driven, right, what's next? What can I do now? What can I do now? And it is very interesting, but it's like going back to that question, I want to get fit. It is also, and I think this is where you're coming from, it's how fit, what exact level, because that's your purpose. So if you don't know how fit, you just kind of will be like, oh, well, I'm quite fit. You kind of just give up a bit.
Yeah.
But it's like knowing that exact purpose.
So I want my VO2 max to be plus or minus 2 around 50. So at the moment it's 50. I've got a knee injury, which I'm waiting for operation. So I'm slightly off the boil a little bit with the bike. But I do have measures for fitness, so I know where I want to be.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And do you find that exercise helps you become a better business owner, or do you find it a distraction or detrimental? No,
there's definite benefits. I mean, if you're on a bike session or something like that, or you're at the gym and you're present in the session, then it's like active meditation. You can be thinking, or you can just be enjoying that moment. And I think certainly if you are fit and healthy and part of what I do is present the idea of our methodologies and frameworks. If you are healthy and you're fit and you're energized, you can do that in a way that increases uptake and motivation of the people taking part. And, it's running a business, launching a SaaS business is not easy. It's hard work. There's stress involved. But if you can then get a release, so yesterday was just an hour's bike session, but it was just, some hills pushing 173, 174 heart rate, that you've got to be present for that at my age. So I'm not thinking about, I want to do that. I'm like, I'm here now in the moment and the body's working fully and it's really putting a strain. And Saturday was a gym session with Shaz and, I'm pushing to try and increase the weight, to try and increase the strength, which is great, and I'm present. So I think it does help. And I think if you want to really be optimised, you need to look at this mental health and physical health. And I think exercise absolutely, for me, definitely works.
Oh, for me too. Totally believe it. Often I'm exercising for my mental health more than my physical
Yeah,
health.
you just feel better. You always feel better. I don't think I've ever come back from a session going, oh, I wish I hadn't done that session. It might be hard at the time, but you always feel better afterwards.
Yeah, you
you
rarely
just
regret
gotta go.
it.
And like, you just, I don't feel motivated. Right, well, start the session, and then, you know, within 5 minutes, you'll be motivated enough to get to the end. And then that's it. And you always feel better when you're having a shower after you're thinking, I'm pleased I did that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And other components, you've mentioned sleep. How much sleep do you aim for?
I would like to be in bed ideally 10:30, 6:30. So I want to be horizontal for 8 hours a night.
Yeah, brilliant. And what about diet?
I would rate myself 8, 9 out of 10. Don't really eat pork-based products. Haven't had a sausage sandwich for many, many years. Haven't had bacon for about, what was my one in New Zealand? So it might be 6, 7 years without bacon. Don't eat pies or pasties. Now I've increased protein a bit more because I'm strength training. So, yeah, I am a little bit rigid with that, you know.
Yeah.
So I am a little bit rigid, and even Mrs. Wilkinson last night was weighing the chicken before I go on the plate, so I know how many grams, 189 grams of chicken, so I know how much protein was in that. And
yeah.
So I do track certain stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about supplements? Do you take them?
Protein, supplements, yeah. I don't do any vitamin ones, but I would have probably about 8 to 10 fruit and veg portions a day. So I'll eat apple,
Brilliant.
banana, pear, nuts, seeds, loads of veg, salad.
Yeah.
We have a salad with nearly every meal, and I have an amount of salad that people would think that's excessive, but it's just a huge amount of salad. So, yeah.
All good for your microbiome.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, I can still devour a 12-inch Inferno pizza in about 3.5 minutes. and I do have that every now and then, but it's every now and then.
Yeah, you need it.
We had
For
an
balance.
Indians on Saturday night, so my chicken tikka masala with 2 chapatis didn't touch the sides. but that's like a one-off thing, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And then I'll pull it back. And red meat's probably once a week tops.
Okay. And why cut out the pork and bacon and sausages rather than the other types of meat?
Well, bacon is on the World Health Authority's carcinogenic list alongside smoking.
Interesting.
At the same level of risk.
Yeah.
It's highly, 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 highly processed.
Why do you think...
sausage is not too bad on that list.
Okay.
But bacon is a highly processed meat. So I think we're eating too much of that stuff.
And why do you think we don't have the health warnings associated with bacon that we do with smoking?
Well, it tastes lovely for one thing. And if you smell someone having a fag, it's not very nice. You smell someone having a bacon sandwich, it's lovely. Stick some onions and red sauce on that. Oh, think back. But no, I think it's easy just to sort of point fingers. You know, alcohol's a big thing. I'm reducing my alcohol at the moment, trying to. Not easy. But we're having this conversation in the team at work, and we're all on a mission, the work team, about reducing alcohol a bit, you know.
Yes.
You just get caught up at like, it's what you do. It's Friday night, get a couple of beers.
It's so immersed in our culture, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, one of the teams always reading a book, I can't remember what the exact title is, but something like Being Sober in a Drunken World.
Ah, okay.
You know, and it's all that concept of like, certainly in the UK, I mean, we go to Spain a lot, rural Spain a lot, and they're like, yeah, you drink too much in the UK. Because they have like a leisurely couple of halves.
Yes.
Where like, if you walked in a bar as a bloke in the northeast and said, can I have a half a lager? Your mates will take the mick. And like in Europe, there's a lot more. Well, I think we are doing more sin alcohol stuff, you know, alcohol-free stuff now in the UK, which is good. But like, it's a bit lagging behind. But you often get a small beer in Spain.
Yes. It even has a name. I can't remember the name of it.
Well, do you know what? I'm on a 386-day streak of Duolingo, and my wife kicks my butt on that. She keeps reminding me of that. And I can't remember what the name is. But
No,
yes,
I just got back from Spain.
Or something?
Kenya, yeah, I think it's because my brother is married to a lovely Spanish lady, and they live in Madrid now. So we're over there quite often, and they'll get.
I think it's Kenya.
I feel like I'm saying it wrong, but Kenya, yeah,
Kenya, it's got
just
a
the
little
little
accent
one
on the ear.
Yes,
I think.
yeah,
but the little one, and that's what they do. Whereas
Yeah.
if you go to the local pub and say, "I can have a half," they'll be like, "Whoa," you know.
Yeah,
it's just culture.
Totally. My brother's in finance, and he worked in London for many years before moving to Madrid, and just the differences there as well. Like, it's almost like you have to be seen to be taking clients out, whining, dining, drinking a lot in London.
Oh, yeah.
And if you weren't drinking a lot, it's almost like seen as a bad thing. It's bad for business. It's bad for, whereas in Spain, it's the opposite.
Totally,
you know, if you got into some of the states that you get in this country, it's disrespect, where it's almost respect in the UK. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's that's not going to change quickly, but from a health point of view, I've reduced it considerably.
Yes, me too. Any more challenges lined up?
So at the moment, I am waiting for a knee operation, and it's been 6 months, but because there's been lots of strikes with junior doctors and stuff, it's been put back another 6 months, so I can't really sort of do anything until this is sorted, because it's happened about 6 months ago, and I got better, then I clipped out the pedals recently, went again.
Oh no.
So I'm limping along with that at the moment. I'm enjoying the strength work, and I'm getting PBs on me bench press and all this stuff. So, I mean, I'm enjoying that. So I've kind of directed it into there. But yeah, I mean, at the moment we're on a very big growth spell with the business, which means that, like, sometimes I have to do bigger shifts, which is reducing the training. So it's all about the right blend at the right time for you. So at the moment, I'll be remaining fit, and once this knee gets done, I'll be getting back to the VO2 max of 50, which is my fitness target, which is great, because you need to have one around the high 40s at my age in order to be independent at 100. You need a VO2 max at 100 of 20. When you're 100 years old, you need a VO2 max around 20, 22.
Okay, interesting.
To be independent living. So it needs to be in the high 40s at my age, and I'm 50, so that's good. So I'm working on that.
Excellent stuff. In terms of routines, do you have like a daily routine?
Routines?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll have a morning routine where I'll write out my top 5 goals, say them out loud, then I'll read this certain statement I've got, then I will go and check my plan. I call it 135, I'll check that, just very, very briefly, and then I'll check my calendar, then we'll update Slack on what we're doing for the day, and then I'll check email, and then I'll start. So it's a routine that takes me about 8 to 10 minutes. But I would start every day with that routine.
And do you get up early?
6:30ish.
Okay.
Yeah, straight at it normally.
Yeah, and what's your typical day like?
So if I'm in the office, I'm often in the office for 7:30, 7:45, but I'm often on the road a bit as well. So I have a variety. I have a variation of a day. So like Monday, Fridays is normally office based. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm normally on the road either with a team or meeting customers or meeting prospects. So I don't have a normal routine. I normally finish at around 5, but I like to be really productive in that time between that sort of 7:30, 8 and 5. And then occasionally I'll have to jump back on.
Yeah.
I mean, if you spoke to Shaz, she'd say that she comes in the kitchen, I've always got my phone in my hand, quickly just messaging someone back or email. There's a lot to be done. You know what I mean? So work takes a very big part.
Yeah.
I will normally have weekends off generally. I'm thinking about a lot. I'll do a little bit, but the laptop rarely gets opened.
Yeah. Good. And do you have like an end of day routine?
I don't have a structured one. I kind of like reflect. I have a very simple task list system, and I like to make sure they're boxed off. And I like to think how productive I'm being. I like to think about the effectiveness idea rather than just I've been busy. And then I'll close off the day, and then it'll repeat in the next morning. So I rarely have things that's left to do on the end of the day. I'm getting better at actually estimating what I can get done in a day compared to what I can get done in a week. I used to stack the day really much and then carry things forward. Yeah. And I'm getting better at being more like focused and more a tighter focus.
Definitely.
I'm getting better at that.
I used to do that, and I just used to always feel like I'd never got anything done because the list was too unmanageable. Whereas I started setting like a time-based to-do list or a clock-based to-do list where you had the time schedules. It was all diarised, and it was much easier rather than just like a massive list.
Long list, And I'll often say things like, right, I'm going to do that thing for 20 minutes and see where I get to. Not, I'm going to do that thing which will take us an hour.
Yes.
You know, I do what's the word? Like kind of condense the time, you know. to sort of say, right, I want to do this thing for 20 minutes. I've got 5 minutes. I'm going to send one email. You know, I do give myself tight deadlines for that, you know.
Yeah,
but it's a work in progress. You're just trying all the time
totally.
to try and refine and stuff. That's just what it is, you know.
Yeah, and you mentioned that was one of your biggest challenges and your freedoms, the time. I'm currently reading a book called 4,000 Weeks, I think.
Well, yeah, that's how many you will get, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got about 872 left according to that.
Yeah, and it
focuses the mind, doesn't it?
It focuses it, doesn't it? And is it Stephen Bartlett that has an egg timer by his bed and just always turns it over, and it just really focuses the mind on how many...
I mean, there's lots of little hacks you can do, but I think raising your awareness as to who and what's getting your time is something that's working for me.
Absolutely.
And saying no. So if someone says, "Oh, can I have a quick coffee?" I'll say, "Yeah, we can." It's going to be either 8 o'clock in the morning or 4:30 at night. I'm not going to meet you during the day.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm a bit. And I've got some clients, customers that we see, and sometimes the sessions start at 7:30 in the morning. Because it's like, once I'm in the zone of work, I want to be in that block, you know?
Yeah, no, good
Best
for you.
I can, yeah.
I'm very honoured that you're here talking to me right now. Going back to one of the 4 freedoms, relationships. Obviously, sex is quite an important part of relationships. I wondered how important sex is to you.
I would say it is fairly important. I'm smirking because Mrs. Wilkinson would say it's probably very important to me. So, yeah, I mean, it is. You know, you go through different stages in a relationship, don't you? You know what I mean? I'm sure when I'm sort of 90, it might not be as important. But, yes, right now, I think it's a glue that really keeps us together in a relationship, which is great, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And do you mind me asking how often you have sex?
2 to 3 times.
Brilliant. And why do you think people struggle to talk about it so much? Why is it a taboo subject?
I don't know, really. I mean, it is one of those subjects, a bit like money, isn't it? You know, like money is as well. I'm not sure. I mean, Shaz and me are open with all that stuff. You know, we have great fun together. We have a laugh together, and we'll talk about it. I think some people are a little bit rigid with it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which is strange. I don't understand it because I'm probably an oversharer. Which
Yeah.
I've got to be careful.
Me too.
I'm such an oversharer.
How long have you been together?
We were married in 2008.
Okay.
So, 16 years.
Yeah.
In the 16th of August this year.
And have you always had sex 2-3 times a week?
Probably more before kids. Kids spoil stuff, man. Jeez, and now the 6 weeks holidays, of course. Mine is going to be up to like 10 o'clock, 10:30. So I'm like, right, we need to be creative here because like I ain't going to get it. Because I need to be in bed by 10:30, get up at 6:30.
Of course, you've got your 8 hours to fit in.
Yeah, I think that's where the chuck in the bedroom door comes in.
Ah, okay, yeah. Again, it comes down to those 4 freedoms all being balanced, doesn't it?
Yeah, just a blend, yeah.
Yeah, are you willing to sacrifice any of your sleeping time for sex?
Probably not now, no.
No? Any of your exercise time? Or I suppose it counts as exercise, maybe. Is it getting your VO2 max up?
It's not really, no. It's not really. It's, no, I think when you got a like 11-year-old downstairs watching YouTube, you've time's precious, you know? Yeah. And then, I mean, I think you have to make time for each other. So, you know, if we're having a date night, inverted commas, and Maya goes down to our big sisters, then yes, we can have, you know, a proper session.
Excellent.
Sometimes it's just, you know, she's downstairs, let's be quick.
Okay, fair enough. That makes sense. And I think it was Napoleon Hill that stated, I've written this down, transmutation of sexual energy greatly impacts accumulation of wealth. Do you believe that's true? Yeah,
I mean, I read that, and it's in his book, Think and Grow Rich. It's one of his, it was interesting, when it was redone by Earl Nightingale, he changed the title for some reason, removed the transmutation of sex and called it enthusiasm. Oh. I think he was being a bit stuffy in the 30s and 40s. I mean, I understand that, and I think if you've read the chapter, you will understand that he does quote lots of people who've been very successful that have a high sex drive or a high energy in that respect. I'm a very passionate person. I'm very enthusiastic about lots of things, and special time with me and Shaz is one of those things, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, I'm you know, if you feel healthy, if you feel fit and you feel great and you fancy your wife, then I think it's a great thing to do, you know?
Yeah, and I guess it all comes down to that energy and attractiveness as well, you know, just not attractive in the sense of how good looking you are, but what you attract into your life with the energy that you've got.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of energy, yes, and I have to channel that energy somewhere, otherwise it'll be destructive.
So you've got to do ironmans all the time.
Oh, yeah, training a lot.
Run a business,
yeah, like you know, be with Shaz like we're a pair of Latinos, things like that.
But I think that's lovely to see because you also then get 8 hours of sleep still. People think, well, you mustn't have time to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, we do. Yeah, but like you know, that Netflix thing, next episode starts in 5, 4, 3. I'm pretty disciplined to switch that off there. You know what I mean? I think some of us do watch TV too long and you watch the next episode and that puts you back and then you're tired and then you can't be bothered to be with your partner or you don't get the sleep and then you get that cycle of then, you know, the compound effect by Friday, you're just knackered. So the thought of being like, you know, lovely and physical with your partner, like, I just want to go to sleep. So, and I get that when you get kids, you know, you go through cycles where they don't sleep and you're just knackered and like, hey, we could be together physically, but let's just go to bed and sleep. I understand those
kind of
cycles.
ebbs and flows, yeah.
It does, and I think as long as that, but I do think you have to prioritise time together in a relationship, and for me and my wife, that time together is important.
And I think we talked about Netflix, but also your mobile device. I think that's a massive block or barrier to a lot of kind of intimacy in relationships. You know, scrolling and
the little noise. Oh, have I missed something? And how many likes has that post got? And all that stuff. I think that can be addictive. So I think you've got to keep on control of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm brilliant at that. I'm trying to get better. But yeah, Shaz would say my phone's often in my hand, but I will now leave it in a separate room for a period of time because, you know, you can just wonder what's happening. And if you're running a business and you've got a proposal out, you're like, have they come back yet? And you can get the habit of checking more than you probably should.
Yeah.
So I think you have to watch for that.
Definitely.
And have some kind of guidelines or rules in your own mind that you're going to, like, right now I'll leave it. And it's funny, at the weekend, I sometimes... You know, people say, God, flip neck, Pete rang you haven't got back to us. I'm like, sometimes I just leave my phone for an extended number of hours because, like, during the week, it is a business tool and I'm on the metro getting in and I'm like, right, quickly, I'm up doing tasks. I'm on it. On the way home, I'm on it. So it's like a real handy business tool, but because it's so accessible, then you need to put some boundaries in. Otherwise, you're it's attached to you all the time.
It takes over.
Yeah, I think it really can. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. You touched on the fact that you visualize. So perhaps where you visualize yourself crossing the line. If you're in an endurance event or you plan your day, you reflect on your goals all the time. I just wondered how important kind of visualization is to you.
Oh, it's massive. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I have a crystal clear picture of where I want to be in 5 years' time. I have a crystal clear picture of the sort of impact I want to create in the business I want to build. Crystal clear impact of, you know, we've got, like I say, a little place up in the hills in Spain. We know what that looks like. I've got the plan absolutely crystal clear in my mind what it's going to look like when we get it finished. I mean, I'm very, very vision driven. So I understand and think about and draw and write out visions repeatedly, and I do that a heck of a lot. Yeah.
And do you believe that you then manifest them?
I think. Yeah. I mean, I did a course. There's an organisation called Mind Valley.
Okay.
So it's like you can buy a subscription, and there's lots of courses on there, and one of them, Regan, what's her surname? Hellier, I want to say. I'm not sure of her surname. So there's one called The Art of Manifesting, which I've done once, and I'm going through it again. And it's how to, you know, create that image of where you want to be and then vibrate at the right level of energy to match what you want to attract.
Yeah.
So I do believe in it. Yes, I personally believe in it. Some people don't. I do believe in it. But of course, you can't just like believe in it and do nothing. You've got to then put real relentless action in. But I used to think it was like 80-20 actions mindset. I now realise it's 80-20 mindset actions. So it's 80% mindset, 20% actions.
Okay.
So the action's very important, but you have to come from the right mindset.
Okay.
So wealth's 80% mindset, 20% actions, you know? I think some people get that the wrong way around.
Yes.
I had it the wrong way around, so I'm learning that now.
Yeah.
But yes, I think that once you can state your intention and repeatedly think about that intention and think about what can be done to achieve that intention and make it real. I think everything begins with a thought. And as long as you think about it clearly and you move away from being like just mega competitive and that scarcity idea to be like abundance and you know, I'm an inverted paranoia. I think people want to help me. I just walk around thinking people want to help me. Who wouldn't want to help, sweet Pete? You know, it's great.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do want to help people.
Of course they do,
That's
man.
true.
Jeez, I've got loads of mentors or people. I had a guy I did some work with years ago and, you know, I had a problem when I wanted to come up with a proposal for a very large customer. I hadn't come across it before. It's a large customer that we've ever attracted. I was like, how do you go about the price? Have a quick call for 7 minutes. I often ask people for 7-minute calls, by the way.
Okay.
I'll just say,
we do a
7-minute
7-minute meeting.
Oh, 7-minute call.
I'm a
Brilliant.
big fan of the alternate numbers.
Oh, I love it. So it's like 7-minute call. And like you just say, yeah, do you want to call Pete? Just give us a buzz. You got my number. So I do believe that. But I think once you've got the intention clear, then the path, the route you could take reveals itself. Once you've got the clarity of where you want to be and like what that's going to be like, and you really internalize that. And then you've got all the things like the inner child. So if you've got to try and get, address in case anything's holding you back, any
yes.
problems, and that can your beliefs and your previous ideas about your ability, that has to be addressed as well. But yeah, I'm into all that manifesting, visualization, the universe, infinite intelligence, absolutely.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I really believe all that.
I'm not sure about all the different things that I believe yet, but I'm just starting to learn about it. Because at first you think, oh, well, if I just think it, it's going to happen. And then you realise that it's not that simple. There's obviously actions, but even just the thinking bit, that bit's so hard. Like what you were saying, you've got so many limiting beliefs in your mind, so many issues that you've grown up with or that you haven't addressed or completed. Yeah. And it's just like, wow, it's actually really hard.
Well, I guess I used to get to all the time, I want never gets is a phrase parents say to children. And I'm like, so Maya said it, I said, no. I said, Princess, you can have exactly what you want if you help enough other people get what they want first.
That's such a good way of reframing it.
Just changing it. But that's a little bit, I want that. Oh, I shouldn't say that. No, like, what do I want? So I this morning before I left home, this first thing, I'm doing my goals. I'm telling the universe what I want, where I want to be, what I want. I'm making a declaration. That's what I want. And then I go and do the work and I meet the people and I take the action. I'm consistent and it's all a big package. But I totally believe in stating that intention and spend the time to think about what you want and get yourself into that right level of vibration that matches, I think that's really important.
Yeah, definitely. And I also heard that you're almost meant to use your feelings as well to almost express that gratitude that you've already got it.
Yes, you've got to feel it like, one of the things we're working towards is an exit with our business in the future. And I am literally repeatedly feeling what it's going to be like when I make that call to Shaz and say, the deal's done, Shaz, check the Halifax, is it in the account? And I know what that feeling's going to be like. I know how she'll react. I know how I'll react. I've even picked the venue where we're going to do the family party, where we're going to celebrate, literally who's going to be there, and it's that feeling, and that's where the vibration comes in, Shachi. I'm like feeling like I've got that. It's like it's there. It's just on its way to me. I've actually got it in my mind. I just haven't physically got it yet, but it's there. It's on the way. And the bigger thing you want to build, the longer it might take to come.
Yeah.
So like I'm wanting to build something special, which I have to put the work in for a consistent period of time. I'm fine to do that. But yes, I really do know what that feels like.
Definitely.
At that point,
And how do you view setbacks along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I read a great book by Ray Dalio called Principles. And one of the things in there he'll talk about is this, like, it's not a straight line. It's like a loop line and there's 5 parts to each loop. So it's like set the goal, try and achieve it, make a mistake, diagnose why, diagnose a solution, implement, press on. So I know that if you're going to be okay and just do good, you're probably not going to get that many setbacks. I think once you pivot up towards this potential, you have to realise that, you're doing something that's challenging and you're going to have more setbacks. I'm fortunate now that in my position, I could be quite flexible and just do consultancy and speaking and do quite well. But I know my potential is to build something bigger, something that's got value that really helps a wider range of people, businesses, and that's what I'm doing. So I realise for that to happen, the version of Pete in 3 years' time has to be so much better than the version of Pete today. So I've got to learn, and I'll be making mistakes, and I'll adapt, I'll overcome, and I'll just keep moving forward. And it's just the same. That's that mindset of just knowing. And if the finish line moves, We did some events in the Cheviots, which was funny. It's One More Hill was the name of the company, which is kind of clue in the title. And it was a big, long 37 mile fell run in the Cheviots. It was so bloody difficult. And, you look at the thing and you turn the corner, it's another hill. So you the finish line moves. But of course, in business, the finish line is always moving and you just need to be prepared for that mindset of like, you thought it was here. Yeah, there's another hill. It's like you're not trying to climb the mountain. You're in the mountain range, which means you're going to go up and down a fair bit, and I'm fine with that. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
It's not easy, but yeah.
Yeah, and you said something there that really resonated. Almost like the harder the challenge, or the more challenges you set, the more setbacks. And of course, that's it. But you just don't see it that way sometimes.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, you know, I was prepared for this event with Lordstone. It was great. My mate Bry, who's in the paras, and he helps me with the training and stuff like that. We used to actually be training in the Cheviots with the full weight of the pack and doing some big 6-hour sessions, you know, like, so that's like your whole Saturday going, because it's an hour and a half up there.
And then you're exhausted afterwards.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're totally spent. I mean, after that, your legs and your body, you know, and the pain in the shoulders, I can still remember that pain.
Did you still have sex, though?
Not that night. Not that night. I think Shaz had to put a shift in. I think I was pretty useless.
Okay.
Yeah. So you had to do the work at night, Shaz. So that's difficult, but you're conditioning yourself. And I think one of the big things, anyone who does like a really big challenge, like Ironman, you know, in a day you feel good and bad. Like in a normal work day, you feel good, you get a setback, you feel bad, you do this. When you're pushing, you know, I remember like looking down at the watch when I started the marathon, it was in Bolton. And I'd been going about 7.5 hours-ish. I'd done about 6,500 calories in before I started the marathon. And I'm like, Jesus, the thought of like going to give up was nearly overpowering, but it was all the prep I'd done before to prepare for that moment that like, even if you absolutely think you're going to give up, you're probably only 50, 60%. You just keep going, just keep going. And that's what you have to do.
Yeah,
and that's what life is, isn't it?
Absolutely.
If you want a great life, if you want to just flip and course along, you know, just chill out, that's totally fine. People want to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that. I want to have an amazing life. I want to like be an inspiration to the kids. I want to be like helping them and teaching them. And that principles book I mentioned, there's a version for young people. I bought it for all the kids, including Maya.
I'm going to look into it. Yeah.
So they understand basic goal setting, Richest Man in Babylon. I bought one for Davey, so he's read that. So the George Clason book. So like I'll buy stuff for the kids to say, read this. This is what it's about. Think about this. So we do that a lot to try and get them conditioned. If life's really easy and you've never pushed yourself, then when you get a chance, you go, oh my goodness, you think it's all right. And we see and if Jill might be listening to this, who's our head of growth, who works with us as well, and I keep saying, Jill, this is just the universe saying, do you really want it? It's a test. It's all it is. We're going to pass the test. There'll be another test. We'll get ready for that test. It's just going to be tested. Because what we're building, something special. It ain't going to just be handed to you unless you're prepared to pay the price. The price is challenge, overcome, and just keep doing it. That's what we're doing.
Love that. Just some final questions to round off. What's your biggest fear?
Biggest fear is getting to the gates of heaven and then someone big saying, do you know what? You had some gifts you didn't use, we didn't make your full potential. So I absolutely need to deliver.
I nearly told that story when you were talking about potential at the start. Yeah, I've heard a similar one where it's last day on earth. Someone says where the person you are meets the person you could have become.
Yeah, and you open the door and you think, what's this? This is amazing life. That's life you could have had if you believed in yourself.
Absolutely.
I really do not want to be that.
Once you hear that, you can't unhear it, can you?
No. I mean, it's like, you know, I don't fear many things, but like I want to have enough time and energy to fulfill what I want to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What annoys you the most?
People who are ignorant, who are lazy, but complain about their results.
I can understand that one.
So people who like, you know, you're not put the effort in.
Yeah.
And you're not learning. And you can go to the library and you can read a book.
Yeah.
And you're paying 20 quid on your Just Eat, but you haven't bought a book for 8 quid. That's where the purpose of relationships come in. I want to spend less and less time with people like that.
And the people that say, oh, well, it's easy for you.
Oh, it's easy for me. Yeah, I get to work 60 hours a week and earn less, but I was working 20 hours a week because I'm building something special. Yeah, it's super easy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you have any regrets? Do you believe in regrets? And if so, what's your biggest?
I got knocked over when I was young, badly, because we'd been to a house party and I'd had some cider that I shouldn't have had. And I got knocked over, and that was the start of the problem with the right knee. And that's back to when I was like very young. So I know that's when the niggle came. I didn't get addressed then. So I think on reflection, yeah, if I'd done that night better, who knows? But then again, I also at the same breath, Charlotte, look and go, do you know what? Like, I'm exactly where I should be right now, even though it might be, if it'd be a bit easier, it'd be nice, but I know I'm exactly where I should be. And like, you know, I have got an amazing life, great partner, fab family, brilliant team. And it's hard, absolutely it's hard, but like, it's actually flipping, it's just great. And that's something I was joking, I'm smirking because Shaz has said this all the time. It's just great in Pete's world. Pete's world's flipping brilliant.
It sounds great.
Oh, it's flipping brilliant, man. I'm fit as anything, sexy as out, flipping really good looking, load of patter, loads of humour. I'm bright, I read, I study, I work hard. It's flipping, Pete's world's flipping brilliant.
I love it.
But I'm creating that, you know what I mean?
Exactly, I totally get it. Yeah.
I'm putting the shift in. I am putting the shift in for it. You know, like, I could take it easy, but I'm like, no, I want to go in this, and Shaz will say, Pete, you're on the bike. You know you're swearing. I'm like, yeah, but I've got to get freaking 50 VO2 max. You don't get that by just messing on. I'm going to put an effort in. You know what I mean? So like, I'm writing another book, and I wrote it 1 year ago, and it was the hardest thing ever. And I'm writing another one that's really difficult because like, I know I can. So like, I am absolutely, I've got a very high expectation myself. But don't get me wrong, right? August comes, I'm off for August. I mean, I'll do a little bit of work, but we're off to Spain for the month, and I'll be having red wine, few tankers, do a lot of exercise across there as well. But so I do relax.
Yes.
So I do actually relax. I just, when I'm on it, I'm flipping on it. I am absolutely on it. Yeah.
I love it. Who's had the biggest influence in your life to shape Pete's world today?
Do you know, that's a really good question. To single few people out, I don't know. I've got a mentor, Gary Candlish, really great guy, very successful on all fronts, and he has really gone well. You know, I'm in a mastermind. There's another three guys, Nicola Cook, Kennedy and Gary. The four of us meet regularly. They push me. I think, you know, the family drive me, my wife. When I said about going down to Lodestone, I said, you know, Shaz, if I come back, I don't get a bronze medal, I'd be absolutely fuming. She says, great, get the bloody medal, because if you come back, you'll be a pain in the arse if you don't get it. So I have a lot of people who push me. I have a business guy that pushes me. I couldn't say one person, really. I don't know, no. I've had some great bosses in the past, Charlotte. I've had some great mentors who've said, you know, what could you do? So there's been like a whole string of people. And do you know what? If I had the time, I could map it out at each stage, and the person that drops in the idea at different stage. I'm seeing like a Gantt chart now, and I'm seeing like different people. And then there's like 2 or 3 that are overarching through that whole journey. But yeah, the guys like Nicola Kennedy and Gary have been with me 10 years in a mastermind. Those are the guys that for the last decade have said, yeah, but what can you do? What could it be? So I think you need people like that.
Oh,
not people who pull you back down. People say, yeah, that's great, but what could you do?
Yes.
Like Nicola, you need to write another book. Clara, you need another version. I want to write a parable. Right, get that done. So you need people who push you like that.
Definitely.
And I'm being very fortunate. I've got lots of people.
Yeah, definitely. But I think if you've got that mindset and that openness, and you do believe people are out to help you, it's more likely to happen.
And I'm coachable. I've learned to be coachable.
Yeah.
You know, I'm intense, but I am coachable, and I've got mentors.
Yeah.
Didn't used to be. But I think I'm unemployable, but I'm definitely coachable.
And what a great exercise have you mapped out everyone who's helped you on your journey and shaped you along the way.
I could. I mean, it's literally like a long journey. You know, even going back to like when I was back at the the Energy PLC, I had some great mentors there. They put me through business school. Yeah, I've been very fortunate to meet some really great people who have been successful on different levels, and there's different measures of success. I totally understand that. It isn't just about the cash, it's about the whole thing. And I've been fortunate to have those people around me, which is brilliant.
Can you define happiness?
Happiness, yeah. Happiness, I think, for me, is based on what you give. And, like, for example, we're going to go to Centre Parks in December. There's going to be 2 lodges. It's like our treat for the kids. There'll be Moran Graham, Davy and Charlotte in one lodge. There'll be Shaz, me, Maya, Meg, Brando and the 2 grandsons, Carter and Holden in the other lodge, and we'll be together there. And do you know what? That'll be happiness. We'll all be there. We'll be having a laugh, having some food, all taking the mick. They all think I'm on some sort of spectrum somewhere, which it was even put on my Father's Day card from Maul, my middle daughter. Actually had a little graph of like the spectrum, and then had a little picture where Pete is. She put a little arrow saying Pete's here. So that's happiness for me, you know.
Yeah.
Is being around people I want to be around. And also maintaining VO2 max of 50. That makes me happy.
Of course.
Don't forget that, mind.
No, we won't forget that.
Yeah. Kids, VO2 max. It's a close one.
Yeah.
It's not night and day. I probably would. Yeah, I might sacrifice some time with the kids for a better VO2. But that's a different story.
Yeah, and you'll be able to go out running and cycling at Centre Park still.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah. I'll be getting me bands in the doors and doing all this sort of stuff. And no, it'll be great fun. Yeah, I mean, like having 2 grandsons, you know, now is the next thing to be fit and healthy for them, you know. And mine still wants to do cartwheels. So I've still got to do cartwheels and walk with my hands and all this stuff. So that's what keeps you going, you know.
Oh, I love it. And if you could change one thing about the world, what would it be and why?
If I could change one thing about the world, it would be educating young people on money skills at school.
Really good point. Yeah.
Because you learn loads of stuff, but basic skills about debt and interest and investing and earning and saving, I don't think there's enough emphasis on that. And I think that could really help some young people.
Absolutely. Your answers have been amazing. We have our regular 10 questions.
Right, good, yeah.
To end on.
10, right, Bill.
Where on a scale of 1 to 10, we ask you a series of things. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best.
10 being the best, right, okay.
Yeah. How good looking are you, Pete?
9.5.
Oh, it's very specific. How funny are you?
8.5.
Okay, we're getting the 0.5s in here. Cooking?
Oh, 2. Shocking.
Singing?
Well, how I feel I sing and what my family think I sing, it's a 2.
Okay.
Yeah, not very good.
Alcohol? Drinking alcohol?
I would put myself as 10 being great, as in I don't drink that much.
Well,
yeah. 'Cause it's consumption. So if it's like consumption, I'm probably now a 9, in as much as I don't really drink very much at all. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing really well with that.
And if you are drinking, can you tolerate a lot?
No. I was out. I did have 3 pints on Friday at the cricket club because Maya was doing training and the sun was shining, and I had a flipping dodgy head the next day from 3 pints, which is a right lightweight. And it affected me bloody training session on Saturday, which I wasn't 100%, so I wasn't happy with that.
Okay.
I'm over it though. I'm totally over it.
Yeah. Parenting skills.
I reckon I'm good at that. Like, I reckon I'm a 9.
Well, yeah.
I do.
4 kids, you got a lot of practice.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, they love to be with me, and like, even my stepson sends us like a message on Father's Day, and it's like a lovely message. I'm a 9 with that.
Brilliant. Mm-hmm. Friend, how good a friend are you?
Yeah, I am good. I probably don't have enough time with my friends, but that is a conscious decision because I would put family time over that.
Yes.
So it is hard when you get older. Like, I've got 2 mates I'm thinking of, great. They're both single. They both like to go on the lash, go to Newcastle, have a really good... I don't want to do that because I want to train the next day, and if I've got time, I want to be with Shaz. So they would probably think... They'd probably score me a 2. I reckon for time with people who... like the family and that, I reckon I'm a 9. But they would probably say low because I don't spend a lot of time with them. But I have to prioritise some things, and it's time with Shaz and the family. So if it's a Friday night, we're down, Saturday we're down to Meg's, and we had an Indians, and we're there with the 2 grandsons. We have a right laugh. That could have been a night on the tiles, but yeah. And during the day, I don't have much time, and I might cycle with them, but it's great fun. But they don't cycle as much as me. So like I was out recently with them, and I had to stop all the time, which I haven't got the time for that.
Yeah,
sounds odd, but I so
yeah, it's the priorities, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Intelligence.
I would put myself at about a 7. I'm not mega bright, but I am able to read, learn, and then implement. So I have a pretty narrow level of intelligence. Mm-hmm. I'm not like academically great. I mean, I've got an MBA and so that, but I'm not like chemistry, physics and history and all that stuff. But the subjects that matter, I can remember. I can walk in a workshop and I can like remember where someone was sitting and what their name was, which business. So where it matters, I'm switched on.
Yeah, brilliant. Kindness.
I think I am really kind, yeah. I would put that as a 9. Yeah. Yeah, 9 or 10 actually. Yeah. Like to help,
Lovely.
yeah.
And the final one, you get plenty of practice at it. So how would you score yourself at sex?
That's a big one, isn't it? Put myself as a 9. I'm going to put myself as a 9.
Excellent.
I think if I had even more practice, I could get that at a 10. Sometimes I'm like a Puerto Rican porn star, sometimes I'm not. So it all depends.
Amazing. Thanks, Pete.
Just finish on that.
I love finishing on that.